All right, listeners, get ready, because today we're diving deep into the mind of Naval Ravikant.
Ooh, this should be good.
You guys sent in a ton of excerpts from the Almanac of Naval Ravikant by Eric Jorgensen.
An
But
absolute gold mine of wisdom there.
it really is on everything from wealth and happiness to, well, just life
He
itself.
covers a lot of ground, that's for sure.
It's going to be tough, I'm not going to lie, distilling it all down into some key takeaways.
The challenge is part of the fun, though, right?
That's the spirit.
Hmm.
So almost like we're creating a cheat sheet here.
A cheat sheet for, what was it, getting rich without getting lucky?
Yeah, one of Naval's most famous lines.
Definitely captures people's attention.
So where do we even begin? I mean,
Yeah.
where do we even start with this?
Well, if you want to understand Naval, you got to grasp his core belief that building wealth, it's a skill.
Not luck, not some family inheritance.
Exactly, a skill, something you can develop.
He actually says he could rebuild his entire fortune, like from scratch.
Even if he was dropped in any English-speaking country with nothing but the clothes on his back.
That's a bold statement.
It is, but it showcases his confidence in this idea.
So what's the secret sauce then? What makes him so sure?
It boils down to what he calls specific knowledge. It's not just knowing stuff, it's about your unique combo of talents, experiences, even how you see the world.
So it's kind of like instead of being a jack of all trades.
You become the go-to person for something very specific.
Exactly. So you figure out that one thing you're exceptionally good at,
And then
you find where that intersects with what the world needs.
solve a problem only you can solve, in a way only you can.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But okay, so you've got your specific knowledge, then what?
This is where the long game comes in, one of Naval's big ideas.
The long game.
He talks about playing long-term games with long-term people, meaning building relationships, the real deal, based on trust, mutual respect, shared goals, the whole package.
So not just like quick wins or networking events.
Those have their place, but we're talking deeper connections here.
The kind that pay off in ways you couldn't even predict years down the line.
He gives a great example, angel investor Elad Gil. This guy, he goes above and beyond in his deals.
Above and beyond how.
Even helps companies he doesn't invest in, gives advice, connects them to others. It's incredible.
And that leads to,
A ripple effect, that generosity, it builds trust, goodwill, it comes back around.
I guess it's like they say, what goes around comes around.
In a way, yeah, but on a much larger scale.
So building a good rep isn't about being nice. It's about attracting opportunities down the line.
It lays the foundation, absolutely. And that ties into wealth creation, how Naval sees it. It's not just trading time for money, but owning stuff that works for you while you sleep.
Assets, businesses, that kind of thing.
Exactly. He says, seek wealth, not money or status.
Because status, it's fleeting. It's zero sum, right? Someone wins, someone else loses.
But wealth creation, if done right, it can lift everyone up.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So how do we do that? Where do we start?
That brings us to another favorite word of his. Leverage.
Leverage, yeah, I've heard him talk about that.
He talks about different kinds, right? You've got labor, capital, code, even media.
And this is where the digital age gets interesting.
Absolutely. Products that can be replicated with no extra cost.
Books, software, online courses, that kind of thing.
Things that can reach a global audience, no permission needed from the old gatekeepers.
It's powerful stuff. So listeners, ask yourselves, where do you have leverage in your life?
Could you create something that works for you 24/7, even while you're sleeping?
It makes you think.
Yeah.
But it's not just about creating something, is it? Didn't he talk about accountability too?
He did. Putting your name on the line, owning your work.
Builds credibility, right?
Yeah.
Opportunities follow that.
He even talks about his own experience. You know, he was talking about philosophy and crypto really early on.
Way before it was cool.
Exactly. People pushed back, but he stuck to his guns, put his ideas out there, and it paid off. Established him as a thought leader in those fields.
So there's a lesson there for all of us, I think.
Definitely. But get this, Naval says hard work, it's overrated in today's economy.
Wait, what? Hard work? Overrated?
I know, it sounds crazy, right? But hear me out. In an age where leverage is everything.
One good decision can outweigh a ton of effort in the wrong direction.
Exactly. He's not saying don't work hard, but your effort needs to be guided by something.
Judgment.
Bingo. He's got this quote, he says, judgment is knowing the long-term consequences of your actions.
Ireful stuff.
Yeah.
So it's that judgment, amplified by leverage, that really gets you results.
It all comes together.
So listeners, another question for you. Are you putting in effort where it truly matters?
Are you honing your decision-making, not just grinding away?
It's worth thinking about. And this ties into how Naval makes decisions, right?
Yeah.
He uses these mental models.
Mental models, one of his favorite things to talk about.
He's always loading his brain with these frameworks from all sorts of fields.
Think of them like tools for thinking. Concepts from evolution, math, microeconomics, you name it.
So he's not just memorizing facts. He's building a mental toolkit to analyze situations, see patterns, make better choices,
He's all about thinking clearly, not just knowing a bunch of stuff.
being able to break things down, see how they work from first principles.
That's what it's all about.
Incredible. We've covered so much about wealth already.
And we haven't even touched on happiness yet.
Right. Because Naval's journey wasn't just about money. It was about finding true contentment, that inner peace.
And what's fascinating is he went from rating his own happiness really low, like a 2 out of 10.
Even while he was successful.
Yep. And he eventually got to a 9 out of 10, proving it's something you can work on, cultivate.
So happiness is an inside job, not something that just happens to you.
That's the core of it, yeah.
He's a big believer in mindset, in choosing to be happy.
Absolutely. And a big part of that is acceptance.
Acceptance.
Recognizing you can't control everything, finding peace in the present moment as it is.
Surrendering to reality.
In a way, yeah, he actually uses this cool technique, finding the positive in any situation, no matter how small.
Like what? Give me an example.
He talked about this time someone sent him like 100 photos after an event.
Oh, hate time.
Right, but instead of getting annoyed, he focused on picking his 5 favorite pictures.
Interesting. So it's about shifting your perspective.
Choosing to focus on the good, training your mind to see the positives.
I like that. So listeners, here's a question for you. Do you believe happiness is within your control?
What mental habits might be holding you back from that peace and contentment Naval talks about?
Because his journey shows that it's possible to reprogram your thinking, shed those limiting beliefs.
And embrace a more joyful way of being.
Wow, this deep dive is really taking us on a journey. We've explored wealth, specific knowledge, judgment over hard work, and now choosing happiness.
It's all connected. It's all part of a larger picture.
And that's what makes Naval's thinking so compelling.
It really is. He challenges you to think differently about pretty much everything.
And that's what we're all about here, right? Getting you to think deeper, question your assumptions, and ultimately create a life you love.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's about letting go of that need to control every little thing.
And finding freedom in that surrender.
Exactly. He even has this like little hack he uses, finding something positive in any situation.
Even if it's like a minor annoyance.
Yeah, even then, it's about retraining your brain, you know.
So it's not about ignoring the bad stuff, it's about actively looking for the good.
Shifting your focus, changing your perspective.
I can see how that would be powerful over time.
It is. And it ties into this bigger idea, accepting reality, especially your own mortality.
That's a heavy one.
It is. But Naval believes that accepting death, really facing it, can paradoxically bring you peace.
It frees you from fear.
In a way, yeah. It helps you prioritize, focus on what truly matters.
Live a more meaningful life, I guess.
Precisely. And that meaning, it doesn't have to come from some grand external purpose.
He's not talking about following society's expectations or what your family wants for you.
Nope. He encourages you to find your own purpose, what truly resonates with you.
And that's where his concept of passion market fit comes in, right?
Yes. Finding that sweet spot where your passions align with what the world needs.
Where you can create value and feel fulfilled at the same time.
He believes that by following your genuine interests, you're more likely to find that thing that needs you.
That thing you were meant to do.
That allows you to make a real contribution while enjoying the process.
Sounds pretty ideal. But does that mean everyone needs to quit their jobs and become entrepreneurs?
Not necessarily. He acknowledges entrepreneurship isn't for everyone.
But
He encourages an entrepreneurial mindset no matter what you do.
what does that look like if you're not starting a business?
Taking ownership of your work, developing valuable skills, finding ways to create value beyond your immediate tasks.
Being proactive, innovative, always looking for ways to improve.
That's the spirit.
I like that. It's empowering. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, you can still have that drive.
Exactly. And it connects to his emphasis on continuous learning, personal growth.
He's a voracious reader, always absorbing information from different fields.
He has this quote, it's pretty bold. Reading science, math, and philosophy 1 hour per day will likely put you at the upper echelon of human success within 7 years.
That's a lot of reading. But I get the point. He values knowledge.
Not just knowledge for knowledge's sake, but knowledge as a tool.
To navigate life, make better decisions, expand your horizons.
He also advises to read what you love until you love to read. Find those subjects that spark your curiosity, make you want to explore.
It's about that genuine love for learning.
And it's not just about passive consumption either.
You have to engage with the material, think critically, question things.
Connect the dots between different areas of knowledge.
He talks about collecting mental models, those frameworks for understanding the world, right?
From evolution, game theory, psychology, even basic math,
It's about building a multifaceted perspective to handle complexity.
having a diverse toolkit of thinking patterns to apply to different situations.
I'm curious, how does he actually learn and process all this info? Does he have a system?
He uses Twitter, believe it or not, as a note-taking tool.
Twitter? Really?
Yeah, he distills his insights into these concise, thought-provoking tweets.
It's like a public journal of his intellectual journey.
And he's not afraid to be contrarian, challenge conventional wisdom
He thinks truth often lies outside the mainstream.
in those unconventional ideas that force you to rethink your assumptions.
That's important today when we're bombarded with info from all sides.
We need to develop those critical thinking skills to filter the noise.
Naval is all about independent thinking, not blindly accepting what others say.
Even experts question everything, seek evidence, form your own conclusions.
He has that great line, if it doesn't make falsifiable predictions, it's not science.
It's a reminder to be wary of grand theories that can't be tested.
That skeptical mindset is crucial in this age of misinformation.
It's about developing that intellectual rigor, separating fact from fiction.
So it's not just about accumulating knowledge, it's about using it effectively, making sound judgments.
Having the wisdom to discern what truly matters, prioritize your efforts, make choices that align with your values.
I love how Naval emphasizes that true success isn't about external validation, it's about pursuing your own path.
Authentic happiness comes from aligning your actions with your values.
Finding that internal compass that guides you toward a fulfilling life.
Beautifully said.
This deep dive has been incredible. We've explored so much, but I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
There's always more to uncover with Naval.
As we wrap up this part of our exploration, I encourage you, dear listeners, to revisit the source material. Let these ideas sink in.
See how they resonate with your own experiences, your own aspirations, and see how you can apply them to your own life, because that's where the real magic happens.
Making these insights your own through reflection and action.
Exactly. And before we wrap up, there's one area I wanted to touch on a bit more. Naval's views on health and well-being.
He's definitely big on taking care of yourself both physically and mentally.
It's foundational for him. He sees his health regimen as like non-negotiable, the bedrock for everything else.
He prioritizes exercise, nutrition, sleep. The basics, but crucial.
He even calls his morning workout a non-negotiable ritual. Won't start his day without it.
Wow, that's dedication.
And it's not about spending hours at the gym either. He's more into high-intensity resistance training.
Efficient and effective.
Plus, he mixes it up with sports, incorporates rest, a balanced approach.
So what about his diet? Any specific guidelines there?
He's not dogmatic about any one diet, but he emphasizes whole, unprocessed foods.
Makes sense.
Cautious about sugar and processed fats, sees them as addictive and harmful.
He has the simple rule. The more processed a food, the less one should consume.
Easy to remember, right? He also
Yeah.
experiments with intermittent fasting, finds it helps with weight and mental clarity.
Fasting. Interesting. But he emphasizes listening to your body, finding what works for you.
Individualization is key. Always. Now, sleep, that's a big one for a lot of people.
Does he have any tips for better sleep?
He's all about consistency. Go to bed and wake up around the same time each day.
No matter what.
Ideally, yeah. And no alarms. Let your body wake up naturally.
Sounds nice in theory.
It is. It syncs your sleep cycle with your natural rhythm.
And of course, sunlight during the day, limit artificial light at night.
The basics, but important. But beyond the physical, Naval also talks about mental and spiritual well-being.
He's into meditation, mindfulness, all that.
Big time. Sees meditation as like intermittent fasting for the mind.
Fasting for the mind. I like that.
Gives your mind a break. Creates space for stillness and clarity.
I can see how that would be beneficial.
He finds it helps quiet the mental chatter, And then nature, disconnecting from technology, doing things that bring you joy.
It's all connected. The physical, mental, spiritual.
It's about nourishing your whole self. Finding those practices that bring you peace, gratitude, that sense of awe.
This has been an incredible journey through Naval's wisdom. We've covered so much.
From building wealth and choosing happiness to making wise decisions and taking care of your well-being.
It's been a whirlwind, but in the best way possible.
It has. And remember, these are just starting points. The real work begins when you apply these ideas to your own life.
Experiment, reflect, forge your own path.
Don't be afraid to challenge what doesn't resonate with you, and keep seeking those nuggets of wisdom that light you up.
Because ultimately it's about building your own inner compass, your own sense of purpose.
Defining what a good life means to you.
And to wrap things up, here's a final thought from Naval. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away.
Powerful words to live by.
So go out there, find your gift, and share it with the world.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep diving deep.
Okay, so I know we just had our final thought, but before we go, I thought it would be fun to distill some of Naval's key takeaways into a list.
Like a cheat sheet.
Exactly. Just to help us remember everything we've covered. Ready?
Hit me with it.
All right, here are 10 gems of wisdom from Naval Ravikant.
10. Ambitious.
Number 1, wealth is a skill, not luck. It's about understanding how value is created and finding ways to capture a piece of it.
I like it. What's number 2?
Specific knowledge is your superpower. Identify your unique combination of skills, passions, and find where they meet a need in the world.
Makes sense.
Number 3, engage in long-term games with long-term people. Build those deep, meaningful relationships based on trust and shared goals.
Solid advice.
Number 4, leverage is key. Find ways to amplify your efforts, whether through capital, code, media, or your network.
Can't argue with that.
Number 5, judgment trumps hard work. Hone your decision-making skills and focus your energy on what truly matters.
Quality over quantity.
Number 6, happiness is a choice. It's an inside job, cultivated through habits, mindset, and acceptance.
Love it.
Number 7, embrace your mortality. Recognizing our finite time can bring us peace and clarity.
Beep.
Number 8, discover your passion market fit. Pursue activities that align with your interests. AD, create value for others.
The sweet spot.
Number 9, never stop learning. Cultivate a love for knowledge, explore new ideas, and challenge your assumptions.
The journey never ends.
And finally, number 10, give your gift to the world. Uncover your unique contribution and share it generously.
Beautifully said. I think Naval will be proud of this list.
I hope so. And if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, be sure to check out Eric Jorgensen's book, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. It's a treasure trove of wisdom.
And until next time, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
We'll see you next time, folks.